Hey guys, here's my testimony of how God came through for me in 2024. For me, this is more than content. This is me sharing this with everybody because I feel like I need to motivate you guys. So I know a lot of people had a very scary year, and I really wanted you guys to know that God is faithful, and it might not seem like it at the moment, but then He is. So I really didn't want to come and cry on camera because I'm not trying to get anybody's opinion or sympathy. So I had to write this down, and I'm currently just going to be reading it from a book where I write my thoughts and my plans. Also, while I'm reading, I'm going to just explain, just so I don't forget all the things that I have to say. Firstly, it finally feels okay to be able to share this because 2024 was like really eventful for me, and like I said, this is not content, this is a testimony. January came with a lot of uncertainties. In January, I was unsure about my person, I was unsure about my purpose, I was unsure about my relationship. To be really honest, I think I struggled, and I had some form of pressure that I didn't know was there. It was a rough phase. I got a couple of jobs, worked on a cancer podcast, worked with a couple of people, and then at the same time, I got my contract cancelled impromptu twice, right? And then one of them even owed me money and still owes me money for January till now. And this is someone who is really making waves or doing very well in the movie industry, right? I don't want to call out anybody because I guess everybody gets what's coming to them. And I think I was really in that angry space where I lost stuff at the beginning of the year. It was crazy. How did I get to mid-20s? How am I entering into mid-20s? And then February still went on like that. I was confused in my feelings, trying to just live and experience. And then in March, my world didn't go to shit, but in March, something really significant happened to me. So I've been struggling with a particular sickness since 2021. I think I might have had it before then, but that was when I found out about it. And 2021, 2022, 2023, all through school, it was a struggle. And I needed to live life. I needed to walk. I needed to not be bothered. I needed to not be physically and emotionally drained. So I had my surgery in 2024, March 28th. And I broke up with I ended a long-term relationship some weeks before my surgery, or a week before my surgery, and I was feeling everything all at once. I don't even know if people around me knew that, but like I was scared, and I was just confused generally. While I was on that table, I felt so much confusion, like so much fear. Oh, what if this is how I go? Or what if this doesn't work out? What if it gets complicated? How does it feel for someone to tear you up for hours? And I was scared. At some point, I could hear, because I was given that injection, right? But I was numb. I could hear everything. I was conscious, but I was just numb, right? I was feeling pressure when they were cutting. I was feeling pressure when they were cutting, but it was in pain. But I could hear everything, and I was singing to myself. I was singing gospel songs. At some point, I got so cold that I passed out, and I don't remember what happened to the next day. When I say I don't remember what happened, there was no me. I felt nothing. There was no presence. There was no personality. I don't know if people that have gone through surgery will understand how it feels to pass out. You know, when you sleep, there's still this awareness. You can still wake up. You can still think. Your mind is still working. There was no mind, no consciousness. I just know that at some point I felt something, and at some point I wasn't feeling anything, and there was no me anymore. I can't explain it, but like that was the feeling, and I thought I was gone. But I woke up, and I woke up to the face of my mom and my sister, really, really worried, because they said I was itching my nose and my face all through, maybe reactions to the injections and drip. I had blood transfusion. It made my BP go up before the surgery, and God is faithful. God is faithful. I know that while I was on that bed, the doctor was trying to engage me in a conversation. Was asking me, "Oh, why is your name Abigail? Where is Abigail in the Bible? Who was she? What's her character like?" Oh, I never really knew about her. I thought it was an English name. It wasn't Hebrew. And then from there, at some point, I stopped answering them. I was singing gospel songs like back to back. I could just hear that I faced the clock, and I was just saying, "I'm watching 4 hours or 5 hours, right, to be over. And then I kept singing gospel songs. I think at some point, what I could hear was, in my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. And it was just in my head, in my head, and I'm like, oh God. I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm still here. My family's still here. I picked up my phone. I called Chris. I called Rachel. I called Tammy. And I don't know, my sister was like, you're just waking up. You're looking for phone. What's your problem? And I'm like, I need these people to know that I'm still with them. Like, these were people that I told, pray for me. And they were not there with me. You know, the anxiety of not being with someone who is in surgery or someone who is in the hospital. You don't know what's going on, so the only way you can communicate is through the phone, right? So I had to like let them know, hi, I'm fine. And I didn't know the pain that hit me until the nurse said, okay, stand up, let's clean you up. Bro, I never experienced it. I stood up and I was like, eh? I did go back, can't stand. She said, no, you will stand, you will stand. It's paining you, Abby. It will pain you, but you have to stand. I said, God, I could barely bend. Like, I'll put my leg down here and then down, and then I'll go up small. And my mom was like, my baby is strong. And to be honest, that strength that I got that period, my healing phase, I healed in 2 months in a very fast way. And it was good because I didn't want to be dependent on my mom. I felt like I was stressing her too much. At some point, I started feeling depression. I started looking for a job while I was still healing. I was telling people, I was putting myself out there, oh please, before my NYC, I'd like to do something, I'd like to gain some form of experience, And I know I got a real estate fintech job from there. I did an interview and I got taken as a sales associate. I joined the sales team and somehow ended up in sales and marketing because marketing is my thing. I also was able to get a content creator's job at Zai that you guys all know. I was at Zai for months, and that time I was just healing. Like, naturally, my mom, my dad, everybody was skeptical about me working, but then with God's grace, like, my healing process, I cannot explain. It was really, really fast. And then I tried going for NYC. The first time I did my registration, because I had to wait to heal. First time I did my registration, I couldn't even do the registration. The portal was closed. The second time they posted me to Jigawa, I was upset because I was already packed, ready to go, and I'm like, Jigawa, why? After paying for direct posting so I can keep my job here, right? And didn't work out. And then finally Gombe, which you all know, I just came back from Gombe like 2 weeks ago. I never saw myself going to Gombe. When I said that, I was like, what's that? That's a place in Nigeria. Does that really exist? People live there? Really? But then I went, right? And God really showed up. Money for the surgery, money for my traveling. I got on my first flight this year, and I was able to enter 3 different planes just from that trip. My first flight, yes. I'm in my mid-20s. And I just had my first flight. But then life is a process. It's my story, not your story, not anybody else's. So you need to own and celebrate your little wins, because I saw it as, oh, this is opening doors. Like this year, things that I never expected, money came for them, and I don't know how it did happen. So when I was in camp, I think this is a recent vulnerability. God, vulnerability is hard. When I was writing this thing, I cried and cried so that I wouldn't cry on camera. So now I feel so free saying this. When I was at camp or in camp, right, orientation camp, I lost my job in fintech. They couldn't wait, and I had stopped, or I had paused site at that moment because I literally needed to plan for camp. And then I don't know, I was just all over the place. Like I said, my emotions were on a roller coaster this year. And then the writer stopped hers, although I kind of expected her own because the brand wasn't really settled. And all this happened in camp, destabilized me. My dad also fell sick that period. Mind you, my dad had one surgery, a major surgery this year. God has been faithful. I'm not capping. God has been faithful. One major surgery this year, and then we found out a lot of things after that surgery. And when I was in camp, we had like some health issues too, and I got all the information in a space of 48 hours. My head wanted to explode. Like, it was doing pee. God, I needed to cry, but there was so many people around me. I was so popular in camp that in the hostel I could not pass. Everybody would know me. The Mami markets, on the marching ground, camp officials, man of war, soldiers, everybody knew me. So I couldn't like get space. So I think I found a way to cry, and that day my bestie in camp was like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" I just have to tell her that was my dad. It wasn't just my dad, it was a lot of things. I later told her, but then I just let to feel, and then people in my room didn't even notice. But then they're still talking to me because I had to respond. I had to be strong. I think I now channeled all that fear and uncertainty about what was happening outside of camp, like with my family and with me. I channeled into camping activities, which is I was in OBS, so I focused on that. I focused on the four walls of that camp until I came out 2 weeks ago, I've been 1 week ago, to meet real life. I had to prepare myself for what was coming, and it was festive. The worst time to lose your job, my dear friends, my dear brother and sister, is festive period. You go on quiz because you'll be wondering all my plans, And then I got 0 calls from my team members, and I came back broke. I came back in search of a PPA because I had it in mind to do my PPA at the FameTech, and I didn't have that anymore. I looked shitty. I came back, my skin was not skinning. I got really dark, if you can see. The light is helping my career right now, but I got really dark, hard water, harsh weather, body harmattan was crazy. And I might need to add that while I was in camp, I think I had a couple of nervous breakdowns a couple of times just by myself, and I made some meaningful connections. A few people, not a lot of people, a lot of people knew me, but I made a few friends. I also have a testimony that is cooking. Guess what? Guess what? While I was recording, my phone temperature was so high, it had to cool off, and then all the stuff I said after just went away. So let's just continue. If I was to go to church to do this testimony, I don't think they'll give me as much time as I have used to speak to you guys today. I really want to say a big thank you to a lot of people that showed up for me this year, and that's why I decided to do this on my channel, because I feel like my target audience would be younger people that can resonate with having to struggle as a student with a sickness, having to struggle. I was bleeding 14 days a month. I was using pads, changing 7 to 8 pads a day. I was staying in chairs every day of my period. I was washing my bed sheets and my bed. I was staying in chairs in class. I'd be afraid to go to class unless it's a test or exam, and even exam I'll be so fast in writing my exams so I don't embarrass myself. I would go through serious pain that was so serious that I wouldn't be able to stand up. And I'm giving this testimony because I believe it's gone. It's gone. After the surgery, I was fine, and I am fine, and I will be fine. And if I can face that adversity, I think I pretty much can struggle through whatever life throws at me. I have my family to thank, my mom and my dad. Also my mom was beating me, my mom was watching. Please, big ups to my mom. My dad was there, he was calling, what's it, are you okay, this and that. My dad was amazing, my sister was there. Comfort held my hand, Blessing held my hand, Marvelous, they were there. Marvelous was amazing. How the money came about, God used people, or used my family and friends for me, and I don't have a lot. 25 is going to be amazing. This year was tough, rough, but golden. I think I'm having space issues already. Life of a content creator using an iPhone with no backup or something. But yes, I want to say that God was really faithful. I got word last year that I would be strategically placed in places that would favor me and bring glory to God's name. I got word that my life would be a marvelous illustration of God's work, God's grace, God's mercy, and I saw all of that come into manifestation. Maybe not in the way that I expected, right? But God showed mercy to me when I really, really did not do right. God was gracious to me at several points this year. I saw that I was a marvelous illustration because I can't even explain how God turned up for me this year. I was placed for jobs. I was strategically placed. I didn't chase after jobs. They came for me, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see that God still loved me so much, and God is working on me. I can see His hand, and I'm really grateful to my parents, my mom, my dad, my sisters, every step of the way. Chris, Rachel, and then you, Tammy, every other person that came through for me, my new friends from camp. Thanks for the support, for everybody that listened to my content, that would like, that would comment, that would share, that would subscribe. For everybody that would listen to my podcast as well and subscribe, I want to say a big thank you. For whatever reasons you guys were doing it for me, you could see me when sometimes I wasn't even seeing myself, and I'm really grateful for that. 2024 was great. It was rough, tough, but golden. But then 2025 is going to be mind-blowing. I know that. I don't know how, but I know that it is going to be mind-blowing. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you.